Well, it's been almost 2 weeks since the first round of protests that took place this month, at least. What sparked this second wave, and what do we make of Kenya's current political climate, with the fact that these protests and demonstrations seem to be occurring with an increasing frequency?
Hi, Jumana. So the protests that we saw called Sabasaba, and they're meant to commemorate the day that Kenya ushered in multi-party democracy systems. However, 35 years later, young people are out in the streets, and it's not to celebrate. They feel like the country has regressed, not just on the democratic front, but also politically, socially, and also economically. These are young people that feel that the country is failing them, systems are failing them. And unlike previous protests where they went to the CBD and they were cornered by the police, this time around these protests were taking place in satellite cities across the country. And while it was a new day and a new protest, the playbook from the police was the same old. Like you mentioned in the intro, there were water cannons, there were tear gas canisters that were being lobbed at protesters. And just like 2 weeks ago, police opened live fire at protesters, and 11 people lost their lives. If you go back to June 25th, about 19 people lost their lives. This is 30 lives lost in less than a month for a country that is not at war, which begs a lot of questions. What does that say about the police? Kenyans feel like they're operating with impunity because they're emboldened by the government of the day that is yet to bring anyone to account. It also raises questions about institutions that are unable to operate freely and with the autonomy that is granted to them by the 2007 constitution that was promulgated by Kenyans. It also brings to light the political environment in the country. We saw former Prime Minister Raila Odinga give a speech, and it did not have the intended effect. And this is ushering in a new political wave where political godfathership is slowly but steadily coming to an end. June 25th, Kenyans were able to rally themselves. And what this made them realize is that they don't need political brokerage. They are now dealing directly with the government. They're interrogating policies from President William Ruto's administration and pushing back on development agendas that they feel does not fit the current bill and needs of the country.
And what impact have all of these protests had on the Kenyan economy in the first quarter?
Jumana, former Ghana's president once said, "Sikampe dede," money does not like noise, and that is what is unfolding currently in Kenya. We are seeing the economy take a hit. Growth in the first quarter is slightly slower than was projected at 4.9 in comparison to 5.1% in the first quarter in 2024. And a couple of sectors have taken a hit. You have tourism, you have manufacturing, particularly with tourism, food and accommodation nearly halved to 4.1% from 10.9%. And you have Standard Chartered Bank saying that with needs for fiscal consolidation, lending by banks really weak, and also weaker confidence from protests and police brutality, the prospects for growth are really lower, while the central bank is optimistic, putting it at 5.2%. IMF and the World Bank are putting it below 5%.